No, I don't think they'll be light years ahead like everybody else is thinking, Skip. I think the thing is they won't struggle out of the box. Because like you said, there was really no offseason. Tom Brady was in a new system. He's trying to learn those guys. Those guys are trying to learn him. And so I don't believe the struggles that we saw last year, I don't believe we'll see them out of the gate. So maybe they're more efficient. But this notion, Skip, if I'm looking at them from week 10 all the way through the playoffs, they averaged 33 points a game. That was number one in the NFL. Okay, so if they're that, it's kind of like, to my NASCAR fans, it's like if I win a race and then I come back the following year and say the car is much better than it was last year and I won the race, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to win. I still got to get it around the track for the 500 or the 600 miles. I still got to dodge a lot of other things, blow an engine, flat tire, somebody runs into me. So there's a lot of things. There's still 17 games, Skip. It's not 16. Now there's 17 games that you got to get around the track, although you won the Super Bowl last year. You brought all those pieces back. You still got to get around the track and get the car across the finish line. So for me to sit here and say they're going to be better, do I think they'll be more efficient? Do I think they won't have the struggles that they had last year to start? Because Tom was in a new place, they were trying to figure each other out. No, I don't think they'll have those struggles, Skip. But to say they make it seem like they're going to be exponentially better, like they're about to average 40 points a game. And I don't see that. Do I think are they a better team? I think they're a team that understands each other better. I think they know what to expect. I think Byron Leftwich have a better understanding of how to call plays. He got that after the bye week, Skip. You remember, after the bye week is kind of when they took off. They kind of, look, Tom, this bomb's over Baghdad. This ain't really us. What do you like? Tom says, this is what I really like to do. There are times and places where I can stretch the ball.
Yep.
But I don't think that needs to be weighed heavy in this offense.
Yep.
They let Tom do Tom. They started doing some motion, stayed in 11 personnel, and the next thing you know, voila. So that's my expectation, Skip. I expect them to come out the gate and not struggle like they did at New Orleans. See some of the hiccups where Tom, back-to-back week, throw pick sixes. I don't think we see that.
So, should they be favored or not? Because Fox Bet still has your Chiefs favored over the Bucs to win it all.
See, but I'm old school, Skip. I've always felt, especially if the quarterback comes in, they don't lose too many pieces, that the team that won the Super Bowl should be the favorite. I believe they should be the favorite because they brought everyone back. But this notion that it's hard, and let me tell you, having been on a team with the Ravens, the 2000 Ravens, that defense wasn't the same the next year as it was the previous year. And if you go back and look at history, the 02 Bucs, the 03 Bucs weren't the same. Although they had Sap and they had some of the same pieces, they weren't the same. Only the 85 Bears, the 86 Bears actually were better than the 85, but they didn't win the Super Bowl. So they get lost in the shuffle. So it's going to be interesting to see. We keep talking about their offense. Let's see what their defense do. Let's see how this thing pans out.
Okay. You're also old school in the way you look at how hard it is to repeat as a Super Bowl champ.
I repeat it. So I know how hard it is.
Okay. I hear everything you just said, and I very much agree with every point you just made, that history screams at you, this will not happen. I'm going to knock on wood before I even bring this up. Injuries are going to happen. COVID is going to happen. I've told you before, COVID will have a stronger impact on the NFL this year than it did last year. Maybe not in how sick players get, because
vaccinated.
Most are vaccinated.
Right.
At least 93% of my Cowboys are vaccinated. That's the report. So if they get it, Zach Martin gets COVID, he won't get as sick as he might have without being vaccinated.
Correct.
So it's not long-term impact. Cam got sick last year, and I think it took a lot out of him.
I do too.
Okay? And we can look at Lamar last year. I think it took a lot out of Lamar.
I do.
Okay? So the point is, it's going to hit harder because they're not in their little bubble-type situations. Not that they were all in a literal bubble last year, but they had to operate under bubble sort of protocol within the confines of each franchise, right? Okay, so all that's going to conspire against the Bucs to repeat. But I believe they will be much better than last year, obviously much faster than they were great last year. And I do love their chances of winning every game this year because different systems look at this differently, but one system I saw this morning has them playing the easiest schedule in the league this year. Some have my Cowboys as the easiest schedule, but some have the Bucs.
Right.
Because they didn't actually win the division last year. They were second to New Orleans,
right.
which means they don't have to play first-place teams on their schedule. So
Correct.
they got a little bit of break because they didn't win the division and then went on to win the Super Bowl. So don't underestimate how easy the schedule looks. Now, again, you can always say, right here, right now in the preseason, it always looks easier, right?
Yep.
And you say, well, wait until November, and you're starting to say, well, wait a second, that team was better than we thought. That team was better than we thought. And so the schedule suddenly turns rougher than you thought. But I got to tell you, when I look back at what they pulled off last year in a pandemic with no preseason games and a quarterback playing on a torn knee ligament, you second guess that. You're a little skeptical about that.
Yeah.
But I believe he played the whole year on a torn MCL and had to get it fixed after the year. It's fixed. We're going to talk later about no more knee sleeve for Tom. And he's saying I can move much more freely this year, maybe even mentally freely, because I'm whole.
Right.
I'm healthy. I'm completely 100%. Furthermore, they did not add Antonio Brown until midseason last year. And then what happened? Right on schedule as they got to New Orleans in the playoffs. It was a big win, but it was a big loss because AB tore cartilage in that game. And remember, he was not able, he didn't even dress at Green Bay. He did not dress, and he came back on one leg and tried to play in the Super Bowl and contributed here and there and caught a little touchdown pass on Honey Badger, as you remember. But the point was, AB went and got fixed. So Brady and AB got healthy, and they say AB's running better than he's running 4 or 5 years, according to Bruce Arians. And then everybody came back, and they came back because they had so much fun last year, and that's playing together and playing with and for Tom Brady. I don't think you can underestimate how much fun they had in coming back to run it back. And several of them took hometown discounts, which should tell you, remember, you were adamant they're not coming back because there's too much money. They got their ring. Right. Now they got to get paid, right?
Yep.
Okay. And it didn't happen. And not only that, but they were able to add Gio Bernard, who is James White, like he's really good because he can really scat back out of the backfield and catch passes. That's what he does best. So not only do you have both your running backs back, but you got your third down back that you did not have last year. And then that kid they drafted at the bottom of the first round out of University of Washington, that Joe Tryon, they're just raving about him, saying he's going to have impact this year. He will contribute in the rotation, backing up Shaq Barrett, but he'll be in the pass rush rotation coming off the edge.
Right.
Okay, well, if he can contribute, does that not make their pass rush even better? The one that destroyed, I got it, Kansas City's offensive line was a shambles in the Super Bowl. I got you. But still, what's not to love about all this? What's not to love about Brady being right in the middle of the MVP race and this team having a great shot at 17-0?
Well, Skip, I mean, look, I don't think that's likely. I'm looking at the Indy. The Indy's going to be tough, especially their defense in Indy.
So here are the tough games. It goes at Rams on September 26th. That's no walk in the park, no gimme, but I think they can win it. At Pats, it'll be a blood game, obviously. On Sunday night, October the 3rd, but it's a rookie quarterback who's half of Brady's age. Would that be right? Yeah, he's exactly. Mac 22 to 44?
Yeah, he's 22.
So it'd be half Brady's age.
Might be 23.
Maybe he's.
Yeah, because I think he's redshirt. Yeah, it's fine, though, but he's
right in
20
there,
years
right in the ballpark. Then at Washington, it's coming off a bye on November 14th. I think they can win that game. At Indy, you think it's going to be dangerous. I don't trust Carson Wentz. I'm not sure who the quarterback will be by that point, but that's November 28th. And then Buffalo has to play at Tampa Bay on December 12th, and it'll be a battle because Buffalo is a very good football team.
The reason why I like Indy, Skip, is that their offensive line is very, very good.
It is.
And they can run the football. They will they will make an effort to run the football and not play action.
Yep.
Their defense, with Buckner and Darius Leonard in there, they're good. The defense is better than people give them credit.
Okay. It's a quarterback's game, and it comes down to Carson, as you called him, walk it to him, and now you're walking away from Wentz, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the guy. I call him Carson, W-I-N-C-E, Wentz, because every time I look up, I'm wincing at something else he says or does.
And Wentz said, look, if Nick Foles can beat you, I know I can.
Well, you going to bet on him? You told me you're done with him.
I ain't gonna be betting on him, but I think there are a couple of games on the schedule that I can see them. I think I said they were gonna be what? What did I say? 13-4, 14-3. I think that's what I said their record would be. You got
knowing
17
you 13-4.
I think I said that.
Yep.
I think I said 13-4, 14-3.
Okay. I think they have a great shot at 17-0 because Brady will be obsessed with it because it would be an achievement in his legacy. They didn't pull it off that year, obviously. Well, they pulled it off in the regular season, but then you'd have to go on and go 20. You'd have to get to 20.
Well, you're 17-0. You have to be 20-0.
Yeah, so that's what he would want, would be
Right.
20-0. It's impossibly hard unless you're the GOAT, unless you're Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. That's what he does, and I'm sure that's what his sights are on right now.
No, I think his sights are on winning, staying healthy, which is, like you said, the COVID situation, and the good thing Zach Martin is vaccinated. But what's happens, Skip, if that thing hits your locker room and there are a lot of unvaccinated players and there's some unvaccinated players.
Okay, but Tampa's, according to Aaron's, they're 100.
Yeah, them in Atlanta are the two teams. Because Tom says that he believes it's going to have a greater impact. And plus, he's talking about how his parents got it. And so he's like, I'm going to learn my lesson. I'm not finna muck around with this. You can see the teams that really think, say, you know what? We really got a chance to win the Super Bowl, and I don't want anything to come up that I could possibly prevent. Obviously, getting on the field, Skip, injuries, hey. But let's see if we can minimize the risk. But look, Tampa's going to they're a very, very good football team. I don't take them lightly. I know what they represent. But going back to back, repeating, there's a reason Tom has done it once. He had some very good teams. He's only done it once.
Yep. But he had to overcome Bill Belichick.
Ah, there you go. See what you do, man. Why you do that?
He did. He did have to try to overcome him in the first Eli Super Bowl, and he couldn't. And in the Minnesota Super Bowl at Minnesota, obviously, in Minneapolis,
against Philly. So you blame him on that. So the two Super Bowls they lost, you blame Coach Belichick.
He gave up 41 points to the backup quarterback.
Well, he gave
while
up
not
17.
playing Malcolm Butler for inexplicable
He gave up 17 one time. And many people say that's the second. When they evaluate, the second greatest team of all time is the 2007 New England Patriots. How you the second greatest team of all time and you only scored 14 points?
Well, it should have stood up because he scored it with 2 minutes left in the game, and Eli started on his, what would have been, I think he's on his 18-yard line.
2 minutes, not 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's why they call it the 2-minute drill. As many times as Tom Brady has done it, Joe Montana, Elways, the guys have gone down the field in 2 minutes. That's a long time.
Eli went like 78 yards on Belichick's defense, and they didn't just need a field goal. They had to get it in the end zone, and they did.
Skip, you already knew what the outcome was going to be. When David Tyree caught that ball, you should have just turned your TV off and to save you some hurt.
Or when Asante Samuel dropped the interception.
Okay, you get two things in one drive.
Yep.
In the same drive.
Yep.
And you should have known that, like, Asante dropped it, and then David Tyree.
And then Plaxico gets wide open on a little fade.
They ran a bomb blitz. They blew it up. Zero coverage. You got a guy playing inside leverage. You got no choice. What are you going to do?
Over.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.